So, this microwave is functional, it's small, and it's just a microwave. It doesn't have a convection function, doesn't have a grill function. My wife is a cook. She wants the convection oven. I wouldn't mind trying out the grill. But the problem, of course, is that this is a very small space and would be extremely difficult to retrofit something else into this space that was larger. So we found the smallest thing that I think exists that has a microwave and convection function, and it's this guy here. This is the Dometic DCMC11B.F. I think the .F means with the frame kit, which I also have the frame kit. So this thing is a little bit larger, a little wider. I don't know if it's all that much taller, but it's I think it is actually taller. It is most definitely bigger. The question is going to be, how hard is it going to be to fit that thing in that space? And well, I'm just stupid enough to try. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the old one out and see if we can get it to check out what's in behind and see the space, in behind the mounting, and see how much I'm going to have to cut up the surrounding wood and how much I'm going to have to cut the frame kit to make this work. This is going to be a fun project. At least I hope it's going to be a fun project and it doesn't turn into a complete disaster. We'll have to see. Alright, so let's get busy on the removal of the original microwave. So, I'm going to unplug it and unscrew it. Four screws in the corner, and the last one it's going to fall out on. There we go. Okay, 4 screws out. So now we pull this thing out, which gently isn't too hard to do. Oops. Alright. Now, if we measure the space, of course I've already done this once, or I wouldn't have bought the one I did. If we measure the space on the inside, I've got 22 and a fraction inches. And this thing is 21 inches wide. So I've got an inch to spare in that direction. As it sits on the table to the top of the unit is just shy of 13 inches. So if I pretend the floor here, the bottom, is what it's sitting on, and I go up to 13, where is it? 13 inches. I'm actually, top of the unit is below the top of where the grill was there. So, you know, that might just work. There's a wood frame in here. Let me borrow the camera so you can see what I'm talking about. There's this wood frame here that the original microwave either rode on or its feet rode on. I'm not sure which. This new microwave has feet. You can see the feet that it's on. So if we set the new feet on the actual the horizontal board here that's above the microwave, above the fridge, maybe we can pull this off. So let me check something, which is if I check the with it standing on the table and I put the grill on, how much does this stick down below the level here? Let's check this here. I guess it would help if I turn the camera around. You get to see what I'm up to. Because I have to keep checking to see if it's lined up. Now don't give me this little battery crap. Come on. You're plugged. Oh, no, you're not plugged in. Let's plug you in. There, now you're plugged in. Okay. Where did it go? There it is. So if I take the frame and I put it where it will go, and I measure the overhang between the table that it's on, I get about 1 inch. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong unit of measure. That's about 5/8, I think. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to raise it slightly. I'm going to have to raise it that 5/8, which just means knocking down or putting a new piece of wood in underneath it to bring it up slightly, so that keep repositioning the camera here. So I'll have to bring it up slightly so that the frame can actually, without having to cut the frame up, I'll have to bring it up slightly so that the frame can sit on the bottom. Oh no, this is interesting. Huh. So the frame is quite a bit wider. Well, that's annoying. The frame is quite a bit wider than the unit. I'm eating up more than 1 inch. I'm actually eating up about 1 inch and I'm losing a little over 1 inch in order to get. What that says is that I may not be able to use the frame as is at all. Now I need vents to be sure. I got to have the vent in the top and I got to have a vent in the bottom. And the reason is that this microwave actually has metal covers, just like the old one, on the top and the bottom that route the airflow through and then through the front wall instead of expecting the room to take up the heat. So yeah, that's going to be a problem. That really is going to be a problem. The frame as is not quite going to work. Okay, I got to check one more thing, which is the depth. So from the front of the unit to just enough to clear the back metal is 16 inches. And if I measured this, 16 inches gives me actually 1.5 inches exactly to the back of the unit. And I can always have the front of the microwave actually sticking out slightly. So what this says is I am going to have to modify this quite extensively, actually, in order to fit this thing in. It will fit front to back. It will fit to side, although the frame won't. It will which is going to be fun as to how I'm going to mount it. I may have to redo how the frame mounts or something. That's doing that. So, yeah, this is not going to be a fun project at all. This is going to be a royal pain in the ass. This is going to be quite the bother to make do. So I've gone ahead and emptied and removed the cover on the other side here as well, because I've determined that I'm going to have to change the face of this so significantly that I might as well go ahead and pull this face piece off and work it up almost separately. I'm going to have to chop so much stuff out of it just to make it work at all. So I've taken out a lot of screws. It took me 10 minutes to find all the screws, and now we're going to pull it out completely. There were screws into the ceiling. Pull this out of the way. There were screws from the sidewall into this thing. I mean, there were screws everywhere. And if I'm lucky, I have not missed any screws. There we go. Come on out. There we go. All right, this is now out of the way. And for my next trick, this entire piece has to come up. And it looks like it's just been staple gunned into place. So pretty much I should be able to get away with a little judicious hammering and be able to pry that out. I'm going to find my good hammer. Alright. And sure enough, comes right up. Okay, and that's actually some nice wood that I may end up reusing. A lot of staples in that. And same thing here. Okay, that has now rendered this entire flat surface free and available for the cardboard for setting the microwave in. These metal flanges here is what the faceplate of the old microwave screwed into in order to keep it from moving about. And on mine, I mean, this metal is so thin that the screws, they're self-tapping screws. They would have drilled, they would have, made their own hole. They're probably actually easy to strip out. I've seen some of the people on the Travato forum showing that their microwave has moved position, probably because that screw is stripped out. This metal bar is screwed on the side, and it's screwed to the ceiling, and there's one at the top as well. If at all possible, I want to reuse those. However, I don't think it's going to be possible. If it's in the way and I can just hacksaw it back and leave it for rigidity, I might do that. If it's just not going to be useful at all, it might be best just to completely remove them. Other than having the board here attached to the ceiling is probably not a bad idea. Let me pull the new frame out and let's have a look at this. Look at that. So a screw into that side and that side would end up being the dimensions of this unit. So really the trick is going to be trim a smidge off the bottom in order to lower it down to be about the same as the feet. Trim another smidge off the top. In neither case am I going to be trimming into the spot where the vents are. I'm going to be just trimming excess metal off the top and the bottom. The nice curved lip here is going to disappear, but that's okay because it's going to be above this, abutting the ceiling or abutting the bottom. So the next trick is next question that has to be settled is, this side sticks out further than this side, okay? Now if I was to mount it to the part that sticks out here, what I would end up with is a microwave that's coming out an extra couple of inches from where it would be otherwise. At least I think it's a couple of inches. Well, that's almost flush here to here, and I'm assuming the metal pieces are in the same. So that ends up being inch and a half. So I can either let the microwave stick out an inch and a half, which means it's actually going to overhang this piece, which is probably not a good idea. I can shave this back and make it flush across here, which puts the back of the convection microwave really close to the rear panel that is the access to the air pathway for the fridge. Or I might have to cut something to make those wires moved out of the way as well. They'll have to be routed down lower, I guess, so that the microwave is above them instead of... So one of the issues with the convection microwave is that the rear panel that covers the convection heating element can get very hot. This is where people have reported that the convection oven resulted in scorched wood. So the metal cover that's on the top of the microwave directs heat out over the top, but that metal back piece gets hot. So you want to have some distance there. Inch and a half, maybe that's enough. But, and I can cover that with some metal and insulation and try to reflect that as opposed to let it burn the wood, because of course definitely don't want to set the coach on fire for dinner. So bringing the microwave forward would probably be a good idea. But I don't want it to overlap here. So what we may end up doing is doing a little both. Scarfing in a piece of wood here to bring that out slightly, so that we're not behind the existing floor, as it were. And cutting back the left side, I'm going to lose some of this trim because this side of the frame is going to be the trim. But yeah, that's as good as it's going to get. So some metal trimming top and bottom to hit the exact dimensions, and we may have a solution for mounting this microwave. Yeehaw. This is going to be fun. So I need to trim this off so that I still have my door frame, but I'm exposing the part, removing the part rather, that the new microwave frame is going to cover up. So basically I'm just removing the whole left half of this. So I'm going to do a rough cut and then trim it up with a trim saw on a later pass. Let's go this way. There we go. Alright, that's about where I wanted it. Pull that out and we'll and unfortunately now I have to skip to the finished product because I had a video device error and I missed the part I was trying to record of me putting it in. Basically, the screws here go all the way through this and into the back board here. It's now plugged into the back here for clearance purposes. I mean, I've got basically almost one finger of space to the side of the microwave. So it's a very, very tight fit on the right side. Not quite so bad on the left, but still a tight fit. And it does work. So far so good. My wife has come out and looked and she approves. So Crystal approved. Microwave, convection oven, grill installation completed. Gotta put the parts back in the inside and I gotta clean up my mess. But there you have it. Installation completed, and I cleaned up the trim edge here as well so that that's all covered up nicely. And I've got one scratch, unfortunately. I had a rough edge on the metal that ended up scratching the, I'll have to fix that up as well, but it's installed. It's big, but it's installed. Yay.